I want to show you something, Micah McGee. Can you read that hat right there? Overcast day today. Looks like, I don't know if there's more rain in the future or not. I got out here, this garden is haired over. Weeds galore. Lamb's quarter. Of course you can eat that, that's pretty good stuff to eat. Anyway, that's what happens when you can't get in your garden to work. I mean, rain, and more rain. But anyway, I didn't have a lot planted in the garden this year. You know, I've got had 6 rows of garlic, a couple rows of Egyptian walking onions, some rhubarb, 2 rows of onions, and 2 rows of potatoes, or 3 rows of potatoes actually. And then I've got plastic over there. I was thinking ahead, you know, because this was getting away from me. I decided to go ahead and put that plastic down over there and put my tomatoes and peppers and maybe a few cucumbers on that plastic. Got to do what you got to do. And I've been experimenting with some little raised beds and containers, growing stuff in. I'll show you the update on those. They're doing well. And one thing about it, you can move them if you want to move your whole plant in those containers. You know, the raised beds, you're not going to move them. You don't have to weed them, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm going to try to get this row of Egyptian walking onions up, cut off, and put in the bucket here and let them get on their way to drying for this year. Might as well get with it here. All I do to these, and I'm going to save a lot of these tops, because some of these tops this year on these onions, my goodness, they're big. Well, they're not monsters, but they're pretty big. And these is the top sets. Pretty good size. So I'm going to say that I didn't have as many Egyptian walking onions, but these top sets right here, as big as they are, will get with it. I'm telling you, they do good. I may offer both of them this year, and I'm not going to sit here and make you watch hours of this. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, and we'll pick up when we get most of it done here. We will. But I'll give you an idea of the difference. Let me find some good tops. I'll find some good top sets here. And then I'll show you some of the root stock. I always go back with the root stock if I have to. You can see the difference. A lot of dirt on that, but that's the root stock, and that's the top sets. Big difference, big difference. Both of them will make good onions. They do well, my friend. They do well. I'm gonna put the tops on one side, and what I do with my cutters that quick. Did I lose them? You never know. They're in my pocket. What I do, I come up there and cut those off. Pull that dirt out, shake that out. I'll put them on one side, and I'll just leave the roots on too for right now. I'll cut that up there 2 or 3 inches. And these right here, you can do the same thing. Trim them off and just leave them together. Leave them together if they're in a cluster. Just leave them together. I pull them apart, the big ones. Just like that. There's nothing magical about doing this. Nothing magical. Cut that off. Then these tops, cut that off. It's like that. Put them over there, and it's like I say, these little ones, I like to trim them because we're drying these. We're going to start drying them. You can break them off. You don't have to cut them. You can break them off too, as far as that goes. Just pop your top sets off. Just pop them off, twist them off, break them off. Just get them off, get the green off. There's no need to keep that green mixed with these. Should have plenty. Egyptian walking onions. I like them. All right. These onion sets, now these is top sets. That's a top set onion, growed on top. Now it may be a couple in there, so let's open her up and see what's in there. I'm gonna wash my hands right quick. I don't mind working in the dirt, but I don't want to eat it all the time. Little dirt probably wouldn't hurt people, would it? I think that's kind of what people are made out of. I don't want no dirt. I don't want to eat no dirt. They're just eating what they're made out of. Anyway, let's shell this little onion out. See what's in there. I'm sure it's divided because that's what these things do. Multiply. They multiply, yeah. See? There we go. That's what I was telling you. It looked like one big set, and it was. But already, right off the bat, you'd have two. And then each inside of each one of them is, Lord God, it just keeps going all the way down to microscopic about it. I like to try this stuff, see what it tastes like. You know, these Egyptian walking onions, they're not like a big Vidalia. But if you don't have Vidalias, and if you plant these, I'll assure you, you'll have some of these. I'm not trying to sell them to you, by no means. I will if you want some. But I'm not trying to run a sales pitch on you to sell Egyptian walking onion sets. But I will tell you this much. Everybody, I mean, if you like onions, if you don't like onions, don't even get none. I mean, this is for people that like onions. Onions. I'm looking for right here. Now these top sets, I'll break one or two off here, couple. I'm not gonna eat the sets on these, but I'm gonna show you. Most of you already know this, some of you don't. These little onions that grow on the top, on the end of the big mother plant. That plant, that big stalk that holds a whole cluster of these, it gets so big it just falls over. It might fall over to 3 feet out there. And where these touch the ground, they'll root and start. Meanwhile, while they're on the top, if you need green onions, I mean, you've got them. Chives, chop them up, save you little top sets. Put them right back on there. And the big ones, I mean, my goodness, they've done extremely well this year. I cannot believe how big some of these top sets are. They done their thing. It's rye. I should have chopped this rye up before I let it go to seed. Let's see. Oh yeah. It'll be hairy through there, but that's all right. It's annual. It'll come up and sprout, and then I'll kill it, and that'll be the end of it. It won't come with a root, I don't think. Anyway, what I started to tell you, if I didn't, is I think anyone that likes onions and that grows some of their food, or whether they do or don't, if you like onions, in a flower pot, you know, in a container, anything. Take an old tire, and fill it full of good dirt and plant you some of these in it. And you'll have onions all the time, practically year round. I mean, if it gets extremely sub-zero temperatures, they might not do so well. I mean, during the winter. I've got these here all year, practically all year long, growing. Now, these big bulbs that I just got right here, let me pull one or two out here. These big sets, them's two extra good ones to show you. These are, and they grow together, clusters. There'll be several of them in there. And then you see how these, of course, them's heavy enough. They get heavy, boom, they break off. And they break off, they lay on the ground, and them little boogers will sprout, and they'll take off, and they just walk. But look what sets on the bottom. They're not vidalias, but they're onions. And when you don't have any onions in the winter, when you don't have any onions, you'll have these right here. I'll show you. Anyway, I started some little Velma tomatoes, and didn't have but, I think it's 10 seeds, and I wound up with 3, 4, 5, 6. They're little bitty critters. I'll take you over before I get done, and I'll show you those little tomato plants. And they don't get very big. They don't get very big, but they'll be this covered up with little tomatoes. I mean, normal-sized tomatoes. It's kind of comical looking at them. There's going to be a pretty good crop of chestnuts if everything goes well, if they've got pollinated. If they got pollinated, I don't know why they wouldn't have. Persimmon tree, it's setting pretty good, but it always it's loaded, always. Not always, it took years for it to even start blooming. But it's loaded with persimmons, but it'll drop 70% of them sometimes. And I guess that's good. They're bigger persimmons. What, you know, the tree knows what it needs to do. I don't know anything. I need to do a little research on persimmon trees because I don't know whether you should fertilize them or what. Of course, in the area it is, over the years, it's got plenty of organic matter around it. I may fertilize that tree. I'll read up on it and fertilize it this fall. And I don't want to kill it, that's for sure. That persimmon tree right here, I'll tell you about that persimmon. I don't know, I'm thinking it's an American persimmon. But now that's not what I planted. I planted Ichia or a Fuyu. I think it's Fuyu. Maybe the Ichia. Anyway, the big pear-shaped persimmons. And I fought that thing for 2 or 3 years, trying to keep it going and stuff. It just couldn't take it. The winter, you know, it just couldn't take it. So start to sprinkle. So it died. It died out. And I thought, well, it'll come back from the root. Well, it never dawned on me that those persimmons are grafted. It's root grafted. No doubt to an American persimmon, I suppose. I don't know that for sure. But anyway, it come back and it started thriving, doing pretty good. And I noticed it didn't freeze out in the winter. I thought, well, it's tempered in, it's going to make it. And I couldn't wait to get them big persimmons. A long wait. I'm still waiting. So, they're good persimmons, and I'm tickled to death with it. Now that persimmon tree, if you notice, that persimmon tree is bushy. You know, I don't know, male tree, female, I don't know. I've got a wild one on the other side of the fence over there, 2 of them actually. Well, it's 40 feet to the first limb. And you get persimmons, but you get them when they fall. You don't pick none. And I've got several persimmons down here, and I've got one like this one that bushed out and keeps them limbs lower to the ground. And one down there, and the others are big tall ones. They're big tall ones. And I'm assuming that they're maybe male and female trees. I don't know. Man. I don't know. But now those were ordered, and they done the exact same thing. Fuyu, Ichia, persimmons, you can plant them here if you want to. You're wasting your money. They won't grow. I mean, they'll grow, but the winter kills them. It kills them. Now, that's my experience. If anybody's raised any that knows what they can raise, those big ones, Oriental, Japanese, whatever they are, persimmons, I'd like to know, because I can't get them to thrive here. But now the native trees does well. So basically, we need to stick with the native, I suppose. They've changed our zones too. I don't know if everybody's noticed that. Our zones have been changed. You know, the cold climates, they bumped the zones up to the north, you know. I don't know what we're in here now. We may be in zone, I don't know, but I think it was in zone 6A or 6B or something. Anyway, they've changed it. I've not went into detail on that, but studying it, but I understand that they've changed it. And the northern areas, they've bumped them, I mean, you know, like it's warming up. And then what they'll do, you go to your magazine and stuff, order your trees and stuff, it'll grow in zone 6, and in reality, you might be in zone 7. But they want you to think that it's warming up, I suppose. I don't know about warming up, but I know that it's monsoon season's been around here. I'm gonna walk out here, and I'm gonna see if I can't find me, see what my onions are doing. I'll turn this camera around a little and show you the weed patch. I've got a row through here. They're probably shot. These are onions that I planted. I was just wondering if there's any of them had headed up any. I know they're starting to, or they should be if they ain't. If I don't get them out of here and let before these weeds will destroy them. It'll destroy them, I'm telling you. I'll pull me a few. These is red onions. I chopped some of this down. It's growed right back. This is awful. It's awful to let your garden get in such a mess. But you know, what can you do? You just sit back and let her happen. That's all you can do, I can tell you right now. We need a few onions at the house anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, some of these is whole row through here. A whole row. A row hoe. I planted some turnips. And they ain't done worth a nickel either. Some of these onions they need to be out of here. They'll rot on you, boy. They'll rot on you. Some of these is already out of the ground. Washed out of the ground and laying right on top of the ground. I said one or two. That old lamb's quarter, it'll grow up on you in a hurry. It sure will. That's a pretty good onion. These onions here are probably best onion. I want you to see the difference. It looked better. These onions over here were planted with onion slips, and these were bulbs. I guess you can see pretty good sized onion in the weeds out there. Good enough. Some of these is getting mushy. It's time to go, time to get them out. Those two, what to do with them? Right here. These two onions here, them looks good. They look good. We're gonna try one. We're gonna try one of them. I'd like to try them seeds. Let me wash this off right quick. I'm anxious to get all this stuff out of here where I can get this plowed down. I can't stand the looks of it. Anyway, onion. This onion was grown from a plant, a slip, whatever you want to call them. A little slip, a little onion plant. This is classified as a 1 year onion. It's 1 year. You plant them with a bulb, the little onion sets instead of the plants, the slips. You put the bulbs in there. You'll have a 2 year. If you notice, you'll see these out through here's got blooms on the top. The onion will go to seed the 2nd year. If you want to know why some people plants the little plants, the little slips instead of the little bulbs, the sets, that's why a lot of people do. Some people don't even probably realize that. Another thing, if you're growing onions wanting to store them, I would advise using the little plants, the little slips, onion slips, started from seed and have never went dormant. Plant them. Because if you plant the bulbs that most people plant, when it starts growing, that will be the second year. It'll go to seed, like I said, and it'll be a stalk. It goes right to the heart, plumb into the heart of that onion. And 9 times out of 10, that onion will go bad right there. It'll go bad right there. We'll peel this coating off, this outer thing off of this onion. I'm hoping this will be a good one. I'll tell you if it's good or bad. Of course, you can tell pretty quick how long a man eats one of these. If you eat one and it's all at once, somebody that's eating it stops, you know it's a little strong. I don't like strong ones. Need one more layer off there. Sweet. That's a sweet onion. Talking from mouthful. Yeah. That's a sweet onion. That's a good onion. That's a sweet onion. Not hot, not overwhelming hot. Just a little mild, very mild onion. Eat it like an apple. Juicy. When I go back to gather my onions, that's the ones I'll work on. I'll get them out. Them's going in the freezer. Chop them up, freeze them. I could eat all that. But I know you don't want to hear me chomping. I'll stick that in the house a minute and I will eat it. Needs a little camp dog seasoning on it. Is that right, Micah? He sold me on that. I ordered a gallon. I ordered some of the, let's see, 8 ounces and 16 ounces. I ordered both, mild and original. And the originals, it went quick. And I've still got some of the mild, so I run out. I have a 16-ounce container left of the original, and I run out. It was getting low. I didn't run all the way out. So I just ordered me a whole gallon. of the original. And I just take a little funnel and funnel it right back into the 16-ounce container. I was kind of worried, and I thought, well, this stuff might not last. It might go bad, you know, by ordering it in that larger container. It ain't gonna go bad because I use it. When I smoke meat on the smoker, I cover it. That's enough. I was gonna take that in the house, but I ain't going to. Listen, I've got to get busy, and all I'm gonna do is clean these onions. I'll show you the progress if there's anything happens between now and the time they start drying. Just remember, if you want to plant you some onions and you want to store them, you want them to really do the best, I'm going to recommend using the little plants that was started from seed that very year. You can start your own from seed as far as that goes. But anyway, you can buy those bundles of those little onion plants, and you'll find out that they won't have those big seed stalks running plumb to the core of the onion. And if that be the case, you better chop them up and use them, because 9 times out of 10, if they go bad, that'll most of the time be where they go bad at. Now right there is those little tomatoes that I was telling you about. I almost forgot to show you. Little tomatoes, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there on that little end. They're just starting to put them on, blooming, putting little tomatoes on. Now I just transplanted these the other day. Let's walk over here and look at these others. Now this is the containers. That's Swiss chard, and I put a few onions in that, and red Russian kale. And right behind it over there is collards. I had to prune them. My bugs got on them, old cabbage worms. Eat the leaves up. I had to prune them a little bit. And that's tomatoes. Yeah, that's rhubarb chard right there. And tomatoes, them tomatoes, I think. I can't remember what they are. I planted, there's something. There's a tomato. And you can see where they're just starting to bloom there. I don't think there's anything in there but the tops. They've got little blooms all over them. Oh, look in there. Yeah, they bloom. They got blooms all over them, just covered. That's got a few little tomatoes down in there. There's something else. Something else, I tell you they are. And I'll show you another one. That's a giant Ford hook, a Swiss chard. The stuff's done well. I mean, it does well in these containers. Better than I thought. I'll show you something. I've been fertilizing them with something. I'll show you what here in the next video. Under there is another one of them Velma tomatoes. And this one is a chocolate tomato. As you go plumb to the ceiling up there. And then right beside it there's peppers. And it's growing in a container. Both of them's in containers. That's cucumbers started up that vine. I put a vine up, or not a vine, but a crop netting fig tree right there. Anyway, it's doing pretty good. I need to water in here though. I need to water. Water. Okay, that's what I want to show you. I pulled this garlic today. And this is elephant garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it up and get it where I can hang it up, because I don't want it laying here. More mosquitoes is starting in on me. They're starting in. The little devils are. And I showed you last year about this. When you tie this with this string, go around it twice, and that way when you pull it, it stays right there. It don't slip back. Just go around her twice, ain't no big deal. One time, and then go around it again. And then when it's like I said, when you tie it into a knot, and you pull that baby, it ain't going nowhere. That's by far the easiest way I've found to hang this garlic. It sure is. I'm gonna try to put it on this back run. Because I want to keep this garlic separate. I want to keep it separate. Separate. Yes, sir. Keep one just a little bit higher than the other. And that way, more air can get around it. More air. That's some big old elephant garlic. Now this is, I've got to pay attention to this row of garlic. I can't remember if that's music or Pahoski. You can definitely tell by the taste because I had them 2 rows side by side. I'm going to put this here, and then over here I'm going to put the one that's right beside it. And I'll know which is which. It's time that corn could come down. Anyway, whatever this, I think this is music garlic. It's like I said, this garlic down here, this is elephant garlic because it's got the little bubbles on it, babels or whatever, sets, whatever you want to call them. Bublets is what I call them. This garlic is either Pahoski or music, one of the two. One of the two. Man, it dries in a hurry too. It dries in a hurry. I just pulled this to eat. We have something, something to eat here. And this is what I took up today. And this, like I said, I don't know whether it's elephant garlic or not elephant garlic, but music garlic or Pahoski garlic. One of the two. One of the two. I'm gonna get me a handful of it here, and about that much. About that much, I guess. I don't want to get too much. I don't want to crowd it. There's one thing about it. It's little. It didn't make big humongous heads like I was hoping it would. But it might not. I don't know. It might not be the kind that does that. I'll have to keep this separate from that. I will. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, you deal with this little stuff after dealing with elephant garlic. It's odd. It's odd. you can go ahead and put a lot of garlic in one of these little bundles. A lot more than I am, but the thing of it is, you're taking a chance on getting it packed too tight. And we don't want to pack it too tight, do we? No, sir. We don't want to pack it too tight. There's one thing about it, it's real garlic. It's real garlic. Some of it's smoking hot. It ain't that hot. I'll tell you what, last year, if it works this good this year, this was the way to go with the hanging your garlic. I'm not selling this garlic, but might do it a little different if you was selling it. Might be a little bit different if you're selling it. Now this is 3 little things of garlic that I got here. Watch me fall. Yeah. Whew. That's 3 little bundles, 6 actually, a little bundle. Now that's all I got off of that one row. I guess that's pretty good, I don't know. That's got us a start anyway. That's a start of garlic. Let me tell you, it's just a start too. When that elephant garlic starts coming in, it dwarfs this other stuff. It's like I say, music or Pahoski, one of the two. It could be both. I think that on the right's Pahoski garlic, that's music garlic, and that's elephant garlic. Big difference, big difference. Okay, that's it.